Hello, welcome to Pride of London Fan TV. Ali here, bringing you my match review of the game at Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Chelsea, which of course finished 4-1 to Chelsea. An absolutely dismal 90 minutes, in particular the first 45. I genuinely would have rather have been Boris Johnson's personal hairdresser, responsible for cutting his hair post-lockdown. I would have even given it a wash and a shampoo, even a little head massage, if it meant I didn't have to watch those 45 minutes of pure torture. Completely dismantled on the second occasion this season by Chelsea. So credit to them, because again, they were the far better team. Let's get into it. All the usual features, Roy's rating, and a man of the match if I can find one. But let's start with Roy's rating. Before I get into Roy, because I'm going to be critical of him a bit in the next few minutes or so, but I think the problems are so much deeper than Roy. And we're talking about a rebuild. We're talking about rebuilding this squad with all the players out of contract, but that rebuild is bigger than I think even we thought. I mean, we need at least two centre-backs. That's no disrespect to Cahill, great in his day, but his time's coming to an end. Kiyate has done a sterling job filling in there, but he isn't a natural centre-half for me. And the central midfielders as well. And this probably might not be the most popular view because he's very, very popular on social media. But I do think, sometimes we are guilty. I've been guilty of overhyping Gyro really well at times this season because he is literally our only central midfielder with an eye for a pass, but he's just not robust enough at times and wasn't really alert and agile enough on that second goal. And Luca, we've been through, he's been poor really since this time last year. So at the very basis, we need two new centre-halves and two new central midfielders for me. That's before we get to other positions. However, there are things that Roy does that continue to frustrate, and I'm going to pick out three in particular. So I'm going to give Roy a 3 out of 10. We start on his starting 11. His starting 11 was the same as Everton. Predictable, really, wasn't it? It was, we got a draw against Everton, that will work again. That kind of mentality that we've had all season. But we needed to be more flexible against this Chelsea team. And the first thing I'm going to pick out is a point I've been making the last few weeks. Did a little poll. Who would you start out wide? Schlupp, Jordan Ayew, or Andros Townsend? Well, Schlupp got 70% of the vote. But Roy went for Jordan Ayew. Now, what was telling in that vote was that actually more of you on the vote went for Andros Townsend than Jordan Ayew. It was fractional, but more went for Townsend than Jordan Ayew. I can kind of get it. Jordan Ayew works hard for the team. That was going to be important today. But, I mean, I don't really see what he's offered this season. Really, he's been good in patches, but beyond his work rate, I keep getting told he runs a lot. Well, Forest Gump runs a lot. Should we play him? I definitely would have gone for Schlupp. And that was vindicated when Roy did bring Schlupp on and he made the goal. The other one I'm going to go with that as a criticism is not starting James McCarthy. Again, I did a poll before the game. 75% of you voting to start James McCarthy. Unfortunately, Roy was in the 25%. Now, I do get it. There's a good point, a valid point made by someone on social media this evening that perhaps James McCarthy isn't ready to start after coming back from injury, but he did play 30 minutes. So I would say he could have played the first half because the problem is we got overrun. The game was over within 10 minutes, just like the Liverpool home game. Another game where we could have done with James McCarthy. And I've said all season that James McCarthy has been underused in these games against the so-called big teams. And really, in the end, we just threw him on for 30 minutes at the end. What's the point? That's more of a pointless and risky exercise because what's the point throwing him on for 30 minutes when we got nothing to play for? The other thing I would say is if we're holding James McCarthy back, what for? What are we scared of risking him for? He's out of contract like a billion of our other players, probably going to leave at the end of the season anyway. So what are we protecting him from? What are we scared of losing him for? This was a game against Chelsea. We know that we got overrun in midfield against them, the game at Stamford Bridge. Let's try and rectify that mistake. But again, we're sticking with the same old rigid 4-4-2. Eze out on the left where he got caught very, very deep in that first half and made that error for the first goal. But it's the same old. We've been there before. The other small point I'd make is Tyrick Mitchell ahead of PVA. But again, we don't know the situation there. Tyrick Mitchell also just coming back from an injury. Well, I would question that more if when we come back in a few weeks' time and Mitchell is still not playing. But there we go. I think, as I said, there's deep problems within the squad, but I do think that Roy Hodgson has made some fundamental errors today. And he's just lacking flexibility. It's just the team was so predictable today. And he just lacks that adaptability to adapt game to game, particularly for games like this where you need to adapt and be flexible. He is like, as I've said at times this season, like your great auntie. He's so predictable in that they give you the same socks every Christmas. That is Roy. But you love your great auntie and you respect your great auntie, and you don't want Roy to go out in this fashion and in this manner. And that brings me to something. At the moment, as it stands, we don't know what is happening with Roy Hodgson. But say he does leave at the end of the season, which we are suspecting. Perhaps they haven't announced it yet, because if they announce it now, it does seem disrespectful. He's seeing out the season. Will the players respect him and play for him? Well, they weren't really playing for him in the first half, were they? So I don't really see what difference it's going to make if they announce that Roy's going now. And actually, it seems a little bit more disrespectful to him, because every press conference, he's going to be asked the same question now about his future. Why not just announce it if he is going? Announce it now, let everybody know, and then he won't have to answer that question every single press conference, which will, then those questions will build and build the more we get results like this. And at the end of last season's anything to go by, they will keep coming. Let's hope not, though. But as I said, in terms of Roy today, yes, good opponents, but 3 fundamental things that I think he did wrong there. So 3 out of 10 for Roy in his rating. Man of the match, I am going to go for that man, Schlupp, because he came on and did his job. One of the few did his job. He was asked to come on and bring something to the game, and he did with that assist. But credit to Christian Benteke, fantastic header. Look what happens when we put those kind of balls into him. So Schlupp, my man of the match. And as I said, I just can't understand why Schlupp doesn't start. He's fundamental to us having any sort of counter-attacking system. He starts our transitions off so quickly. And we talk about positions. We talk about Saha on the left, or should Eze be in the middle or on the left, or can Schlupp play on the right? Or some people were saying before the game, should Schlupp play as part of a midfield 3? I don't think those positions need to be fixated with those 3. They could be very, very fluid, interchange. Schlupp can sort of drift left and in the middle. Eze can drift left in the middle. Saha can drift left in the middle. All of them are capable of playing on the right-hand side. But he continues to persevere with Jordan Ayew. And we'll see in a couple of weeks whether that will change, because that does excite me about this team. I would love to see Schlupp, Saha and Eze in behind Christian Benteke. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Let me know who your man of the match was. What are your thoughts? If Roy's going, should we announce it now? Let me know in the comments below, as usual. But a disappointing day, and we take 2 weeks off again. Good for the soul. Another rest from Palace. We need it. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much. And as always, if you liked what you were watching today, please press that subscribe button.